Hello everybody and welcome to the webinar on remote games for team development. My name is Sandra and I'm the co-director of the Center for Leading Innovation and Cooperation at the Leipzig Graduate School of Management. I'm kicking off this webinar. Afterwards, or after my introduction, I will have a chat with Karina, who is Innovation Manager at Lufthansa Systems. And she will give us some insights of their current challenges and how they tackle them with games. And last but not least, Kyla will present a newly developed game she and her team has done for 3M. We all are working together in a really amazing project called Gamify. You can see the logo on the slides. It's a EU-funded project and it kicked off 1.5 years ago. And it's all about gamification and how games can help organizations and companies to be more innovative or to help them in their innovation process, to come up with new products and services and with new business models. And we cooperate or work together with a couple of really interesting companies, and you can see them at the bottom of the slide, like 3M, Lufthansa Systems, Telekom. And we actually develop games for them, very specific games for each company to tackle their own challenges they have currently with their innovation processes to be even more innovative. So this is the project about and how we met and why we are dealing with the topic of gamification. Yeah, so we think, and this is the assumption of the project, obviously that games are really important, and it starts in your childhood actually. Children play a lot. They love playing because it's fun on the one hand, but of course it's also very important for their development. So they learn through games. And through the interaction with other children. So it's really, really important. And it doesn't start in your childhood. Even as an adult, or a lot of adults still like to play online games or board games with friends on the weekends. So to challenge each other or just to be social. But not only in the private surrounding you, or people like to play, it also makes sense to use games in the working environment. And this is what the Gamify project is about, and what the webinar is actually about, how to use certain games in a working environment. And we like to play games, for instance, with clients in innovation workshops like Lego Serious Play. It's getting more and more famous, and probably you know it, but you can actually use Lego to answer several questions within an innovation context. And in this case, we were asking our participants in a workshop how they would love to look their future workplace like, and they came up with something like that. And obviously most of the times it's really crazy, but when you kick off a discussion around that, it's getting more and more specific, and you get people to talk about certain challenges and problems they are having, and can support them within the innovation process around that. And you can actually apply this method to a lot of questions and challenges you are having. So this is just one example out of the working environment and games within it. Usually we play a really little game before we do this workshops, these Lego Serious Play workshops. And well, I thought this is actually a quite nice game. You can also play online. You don't have to do it in classroom, or you can do it now. And I would love to play it with you as well. It's just a really short game. And I would like you to enter to the chat what you see here on the first picture. So just enter your first thought you are having while you see this this picture. Okay, I was expecting those. Oh, that's a fun one. Locomotive train. Histogram. Okay, Lego stones. Yes. Oh yeah, here we go. What you see here, oh, that's, yeah. So we have a pro there who knows all the answers to the pictures. And the last one, so yeah. So yeah, the first one are the Simpsons. The green ones are the Ninja Turtles. Then we have South Park and the Smurfs. Yeah, so actually I read all the right answers. So, but yeah, we usually experience what here happened as well. Most people think at the first picture it's a bar chart. Yeah. After a while you figure out, okay, what it's all about, and you get the right answers. So this is always a really nice game because, you know, it's fun and people laugh usually because it refers to these really nice characters, and probably you think of your childhood. So this is in my case, when I think of the turtles or see the turtles, I have always to think of the comics I used to watch in my childhood. So it's always, so this is just an example for a really small game as a warm-up or an icebreaker you can do in the beginning of a webinar or a workshop you do. So, but now I would like to proceed with the main topic of this webinar, and this is about remote games for team development. So why is this something we do now? On the one hand, we have the trend for remote work. I think it's getting more and more important for employees to work from home or to have the opportunity to work from home, because you can cut your commute costs or the time for commuting. You can be working more flexible, and for the companies, it's also of advantage because you can save costs. You name it. Can also add on to the sustainability factors, and there are a lot of positive effects when you work from home. And this is why we think, or a lot of people think, more and more people will work from home, and it won't stop after COVID. And of course, due to the current circumstances, a lot of people actually work from home right now, but we think it won't stop so fast, and this is a trend which will stay with us. So, however, you have to stay in contact with your colleagues, your team members, and we experienced recently, okay, well, we can't chat at the coffee machine we used to do. So, and of course, some challenges will arise because, for instance, I haven't met my colleagues for, 12 weeks. So you miss out on a lot of things you used to do, but still have to cooperate and work together and have to make sure you don't lose track. So, and then we thought, well, what can we do? How can we stay in contact? And we thought, well, we know a lot of games we used to play usually, and what kind of games can we actually play online now, and how can they support this team spirit and make sure we don't lose track and still be social and can talk to each other and actually have some fun, because we can have drinks on Friday nights any longer, at least for a couple of time. So we thought, okay, we have to think about something, or we have to do some research what we can do. I mean, we have this really great project and we deal with games all the time. So we have to check what's out there and which games we can play online. So we done this brainstorming session within this Gamify project. We used the Miro board, and this is the result. Don't get too shocked about it. I know there's a lot of information on this slide. Just to let you know, there are a lot of different games we found tackling a lot of different challenges, but we are focusing today on team building. So you can see here, one challenge arising from remote work is the challenge for teams and to maintain trust or build trust. This is actually a big topic right now. And then you have the opportunity to do team building online. And then a lot of different games can be applied to do so. And in the following, I would like to present you some games we use to play right now and which we test and think they are really nice and interesting to know. And just one notion, we put together a document for you to download with all the games mentioned here on the slide, with all the instruction and rules. So in case you want to make use of one of those games or of games in general, when it comes to remote work, you can have a look at this document later and try some games. So feel happy to download it, and the link is in the end of this presentation and will be shared with you, of course. So you don't have to write down all the games now. You can take your time later. So when you think of these remote games, you can categorize them into 3 categories. So the first one is check-in, check-out. Then we have team building and dilemmas. So check-in, check-out remote games are facilitated to have kind of social interaction. So the Lego game from the beginning would be something like that. To open up a standard meeting with your team members and you want to do a little warm up, you can do a game like that. Or if you want to get to know your team better, probably when you do teaching and you want to get to be familiar with the students, you can do the name alliteration game, and I will present that later, just to get to know each other and can remind the names better probably. So this would be a check-in, check-out game. Then we have team building games, sorry for that. And these remote games are designed really to bring teams closer together. So they can even build trust, it depends on the game though, and make sense of community and even promotes creativity. So there are really a lot of different games who can foster this. And as I said earlier, Kayla will present a game which was developed for 3M because they have the challenge to build trust with teams spread all over the world who haven't met before. So this is a special team building game to tackle that challenge. So this would be the second category. And then we have the last one, dilemmas. And dilemma dealing remote games anticipate certain challenges. So probably if you have an innovation challenge or have a specific problem you have to address or have to work on, you can use dilemma games to tackle those challenges or problems. And for all these categories, we have put together different games which can be applied in specific situations and setups for meetings. You can, as I said, all find them in this document we put together for you. So I would just quickly like to introduce some of the games we recently played and we had really fun with. So I would like to take the opportunity to let you all know. This is a really easy game to play. This is called name alliteration, and it's really suitable for check-in, check-out remote games. So how does it work? It's similar to I'm packing my suitcase. Probably most of you know this game. So one player tells his name and adds an adjective beginning with the same letter. So I'm the sensational Sebastian. And the next player repeats this and brings up something for himself. So this is sensational Sebastian and I'm the playful Paul, and so on, so on. As you can imagine, it doesn't make sense to play this game with 30 people because it would be too much to remember, although it could be really funny. But yes, you see some instructions on the right-hand side, how you should facilitate this game. So it's a game suitable for 3 to, let's say, 12 people, so it shouldn't be too many people. But in this setting, it really works fine. And we played that obviously in our Gamify project, I think 2 weeks ago, and it was really funny. And I just want to show you.
I'm the Super Sandra. So Martin.
So I will continue now.
Yeah.
So you are Super Sandra and I'm the modern Martin.
So you're Super Sandra and you are modern Martin and I'm strict Sune.
Strict, okay. Carmen?
Oh, you are Super Sandra, and you are Modern Martin. You are strict Sune. I am courageous Carmen.
Yeah, so you got a idea how this game works, and I really can recommend this game. It was really funny to play, and we did that with animals as well, and we had a great laugh. And as you can see, I recorded the game, and I think we will have a look at it every once in a while, and we'll have a really great memory of that project once we finish that. So another really nice game is this Boggle remote game. And probably you know that Boggle is actually a board, or let's call it a board game, where you have to do words out of letters. So, but in this case, the players need to write a letter on a blank paper and show it to the camera. And all the players have to find words within the given letters, so that you can imagine in a better, we put this together. So it would look like something like that. When you are on Zoom and all the participants hold up a paper with a letter, you can see this, and then you can actually play it in different ways. You can set up teams challenging each other, and you have, let's say, 1 minute to make as much words as possible. And yeah, and as a facilitator, you can also provide such a setting, and the others don't have to provide the letters, because, you know, it's kind of challenging to put up or hold up the paper and write the words in the chat at the same time. But of course you can figure it out somehow. But there are different possibilities to play that game, and it's a really fun game, and easy to operate, and causes some laugh. So here you have kind of different words. You can obviously make the word game, map, same, see, you name it. So you can come up with a lot of words, and you can challenge each other or different teams. So this is also really nice and easy game to play in such a setting. Then we have the third game, which we also tested, and it was really funny and even interesting to see how this is working. So see what I mean? You have to provide a picture using only really basic shapes, and someone else then describes the drawn picture to the others. So, and all others must then try to draw the picture based on the verbal description given from the other person. And also here, it's best demonstrated when you have a look at this. So we played that, and this really basic drawing from Picasso was given to the one person, who then had to describe it to the others, and they draw it. So, and now you think, okay, that looks quite simple, but the result was quite, you know, surprising. So our team draw actually these pictures, and none of them really looked like that one, right? So on the one hand, it was a really great laugh, because, you know, it looked like that. And Claudia here, she was the one to explain the how the others should draw. And she was like, okay, my instructions were so good, why didn't you draw it like I said? And she was like, okay, I was so sure that it really looked like the picture I was given, but obviously it was not, and it was not meant to be in the game, because, you know, it's all a matter of communication. So what you say and what the others get, and it's not that easy to communicate what you really want to. So there are different aspects on that game. It's a fun factor, of course, but also about communication and leadership. So this was also a really, really interesting game, and we had a lot of fun trying this. I think when we speak about these remote games and other games, there's a big challenge, not of the availability of games, but really to choose the right games, and actually how to learn to use them, because it's not that easy. And that's why we put together some slides for you, because it's really important to understand what to think about before you apply such games. So, and I would like to roughly go through it before I have the chat with Karina. So yeah, you always have to pick a facilitator who makes sure that everything works and who actually is the moderator of a game. You have to consider the right technology and the right type of game and the purpose. So what you want to do or what you aim to do with the game. Is it an icebreaker game, a team building game, or what you want to achieve with it? So it's really important to consider before and upfront, and then to choose a suitable game. So how much time do you need? And yeah, make sure you are prepared and the others are. Like in the case with Boggle, you have the others know before that they need a blank paper and a pen at least, otherwise you can't play it. So you have to consider actually a lot of different things to make sure that it works smoothly, and this is really important, especially in an online remote setting. And during the meeting, of course, you need to be familiar with the rules in detail and have to be prepared to explain it to the audience. And yeah, you should have a how to play slide in hand to make sure everybody gets it. Yeah, and you should inform the audience why you play a certain game. So it's not just the sake of the game. You really have to achieve something with it. Otherwise, they won't enjoy playing it if they don't know why you do it. Yeah, track the time to make sure you have enough time left for the rest of the meeting. That's always really important. And another recommendation is to take screenshots of videos for later and share them with your team, especially when it's about team building and trust. It's nice to share something with your team members afterwards, yeah, just as a reminder for fun moments. So, and talking about tracking time, I will stop at this point and would like to welcome Karina. So, hello, and thanks for joining us, Karina, today.
Hi, Sandra. My pleasure.
So, as I said, we would like to talk a little bit about your insights and the past experience during the last month, because they were quite challenging for a lot of us, and for you at Lufthansa system as well. So you have quite a lot interesting to tell us. But first of all, I would like to know if you have anything to add to what I've just said, probably out of your perspective as an practitioner. So it would be interesting to know if you have anything to add. So feel free.
Yeah, so thanks for sharing. It's always interesting to get to know also new games, being reminded of how to use them and maybe also how not to use them. So coming back to the learnings you've mentioned, I want to highlight a couple of them. For example, you've mentioned this thing about the game, choosing the game for the right situation. I think it was here, right? The second part on this slide, the right type of game for your purpose. And also on the next slide, there was something with remember to talk about the why you're using the game. And this is something where I feel it's really, really important, since I'm trying to always emphasize or prepare the participants of a workshop for whatever comes next. So for example, if you play a certain game and the next phase would be creative, would be about collecting ideas and having a brainstorming, then most likely I would have a game that prepares them to be creative. Maybe like the Picasso dog that you were showing us. Another thing, if it's more about, for example, you showed the game of Lego Serious Play, or where we're talking about the bricks and the Smurfs and the Simpsons. I would probably use such a game for prototyping to prepare them for if the next phase is prototyping, just to show how easy it can be to prototype things and to transfer a message or a product. So I would always have in mind what is the next step in my workshop or in the meeting, and then I would choose the right game to emphasize or to bring the people into the right mood. Basically, either being it creativity or being it more critical thinking. So I think this is one of the most important things I try to have in mind when having workshops and virtual meetings in practice.
Yeah, I absolutely agree on that. That it's really important, yeah, to choose the right game and make sure that you have everybody on board. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So it's not that easy all the time, unfortunately.
No, that's right. And that brings me to the next point that I saw, bringing everybody on board. And what was it? Talking about the participants. And think about who is there, who's going to play with you, or who is going to attend the meeting. For example, in practice, I experience huge differences when I teach innovation, and now I'm virtually teaching. So when I give virtual innovation classes at the university, in comparison to our innovation workshops we run at Lufthansa. So have in mind who is attending the meeting or the workshop and who's playing the games with you, since at the university it can't be playful enough. They're all up for, you know, up for having fun and being entertained, more or less. While at work it's more about bringing it down to serious points rather sooner than later. So probably having it too playful is also dangerous. So you have to find the right mix of, or you have to think of who's going to attend the meeting and then choose the game in a playful way or less playful way accordingly.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Yeah. So what have you experienced in your working environment in the last couple of weeks? I mean, we had some chats a couple of weeks ago, and you told me you actually had some challenges, and probably you want to share them with the audience, because yeah, I would be interested actually how you tackled them.
Yeah, I actually remember our call on that exact day when we talked first about where games and how games can help. And it was a day when we were forced from one day to another to run a workshop that was planned to be in our facilities. And from one day to another, we were forced to have it in a virtual way. So the participants were set, the plan was set, and now we had to run it in a virtual way. And the difficulty that we were facing was that they didn't know each other. So from one day to another, it was a full day workshop that we had to run virtually without the participants knowing each other. And that was our main challenge at that time, since we wanted to make sure that they get a sense of community, that they get a sense of being a team. At the same time, of course, we needed to make sure that we're on track, that we're coping the content that we were planning to have in our offline workshop. So team building was the main issue, looking back to a couple of weeks when all these virtual things started.
And what is the current situation? So how would you describe it? Did you make it? Or yeah.
And at least in this specific project, I think we're fine. We had some days and weeks passed, and now looking back, whether we're a team or not, I'd say I'm really surprised how good it works and how positive such virtual things can be. I still think we can see all these kind of things as a chance. So to bring the team together in a more frequent way, to you know, have teams worldwide coming together without, you know, necessarily being at one place. So I think it can be a chance to have this virtual thing, but I still think that meeting from time to time personally would bring more trust, would bring a better sense of community and a team. Yeah, I think that's where we are, that we're fine, and that we found our way through the challenges like most of you did. You're talking about so many different tools and games that we can use, and we actually make use of a lot of different things. Yeah, but I still think that the offline meeting can't be replaced totally.
Okay, this is actually a good point to hand over to Kyla, because she developed a game actually to foster team collaboration or team building for teams spread all over the world. And yeah, thank you, Karina, for your time and your insights. I think you could have said more and more.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, I know that, but yeah, we have to keep it short.
No, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward. I know the game, and
Yeah, I think it's a really fantastic game. So, and yeah, it's your stage, Kayla. Thank you for joining and presenting this really nice game to us.
Thank you both, Sandra and Karina. So hi everyone, I am a designer and research assistant at the design school in Kolding, Denmark. I am part of a Gamify project as a play designer, and I have also been looking deeper into remote teams and virtual teams, specifically related to a 3M case, the company 3M, which is one of the partner companies within the Gamify project, but also within the interest of some of the other partners involved in the project. As Karina mentioned, Lufthansa would be one of them. So this was shortly before the pandemic situation exploded, and suddenly now it's a team that is a topic that is of relevance for everybody. So as Sandra and Karina mentioned, global organizations and innovation teams working remotely, they face many difficulties related to communication and collaboration in these cross-cultural and cross-disciplinary teams, the lack of the detachment from work and transactional relationships being some of these. I'm gonna share my screen, so. You can see my screen now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. Yes. So yeah, the lack of transactional relationships, mostly detachment from work, the lack of sense of community, as Karina mentions, would be some of them. So employees' well-being and satisfaction is one of the many challenges that these global organizations face. It can often also be overlooked by management and by the type of tools that we see out there. So the main focus of these tools that we see out there, they give an interest to performance and productivity. But it turns out that the well-being and the social ties have a direct impact on the team's willingness for collaborating and their performance capabilities. So the information that we typically acquire in these more informal settings and with these informal interactions with our colleagues, say, for example, just by sharing an office or by meeting each other in the hallways, having a coffee break together, these interactions have a significant role in the sense of familiarity with our team. And the sense of familiarity is what can build trust. And this trust is fortifies their tendency for agreement, for commitment, for cooperation. So I will be giving you a glance presentation of a game that was created with this purpose. And the game, we're exploring the challenge of building trust in displaced teams through the interactions in 3 main categories, as Sandra mentions. I'm just gonna hide this. Okay. The game is called Illusion of Proximity, and it goes through the 3 categories that Sandra has mentioned, like sharing profiles through checking out exercises, team buildings, and dilemma dealing. And then sharing profiles through checking it out, it incorporates disclosing personal and professional backgrounds, and this is part of all 3 categories as well. But here it has a special attention because also the checking exercises have special characteristics that interest us for the purpose. And then team building through collaboration. Team building is also a general theme of the game. So it's present throughout the entire game design, but this category has a special focus on collaborating, on reinforcing the common or building the common, reinforcing the sense of togetherness. So building a common language, a common work culture. And then lastly, anticipating and dealing with dilemmas, which touches a bit more on the practical side of things. So in the sense that it deals with source issues like giving and receiving feedback perhaps, or clashing opinions, decision making, and these things. Right. Sorry. And the game is intended to be used for opening or closing online meetings with 2 to 3 participants. And by supporting remote workers on bridging some of the gaps that virtual collaborations come with, the aim is to provide new social protocols that make a positive difference in our work culture. And I think now we're perhaps ready to play and give it a try. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen 1 second. Stop share, okay. So if we're ready to play, we need at least 5 to 6 or 7 participants to volunteer. We're gonna be trying one of the categories of the game, which is the checking in out exercises. So it does require you to open up a little bit and share a little bit about yourself, but it's nothing complicated. I know we have 2 or 3 internal persons, Sina, that can participate in the game. But if anybody else would like to volunteer and would like to just form part of the demonstration of the game, please raise your hand. And I think Lucia will allow you to become visible, or at least to speak.
I will allow you to speak. So just, you have a button, please raise your hand and I will allow you to speak.
Yes. It's mostly voice interaction. So yes, you don't need to enable your camera. We'll just have some conversations.
Hello, it's Tim from Leipzig.
Hi, Tim. You'll be joining the game, and Sina will be joining the game as well. So we have 2 participants. Who else could participate? Karina, do you want to join the game as well? Good.
Sure, I will.
Good. So if 1 or 2 more people can raise their hands if they wish to participate, and then we'll go on to the game.
Hello, so Maria.
Hi. Maria. Okay. So now we have Maria, Tim, Sina, Karina. We have 4 people. I think it's fine with that. We can try it out with that.
I think there's 1 more.
And we have Anna.
Anna. Hello, Anna. Okay, guys, so thank you for joining, and thank you for taking part in a testing of the game. I am gonna share my screen once again. My screen is, you can see my screen now again, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Super. Okay, so guys, welcome to Illusion of Proximity, which is a little magic protocol for distant teams. It does include a user guide, but I'm here to guide you through it today because I think I've already spoken enough. So we'll just go straight to the play. Just so we can hear really quickly, can you just say your name and where are you joining us, the ones that are participating? We can start with Sina, perhaps.
Yes, I'm here. Participating from Germany.
Okay, thank you, Sina.
And this is Karina participating from Germany, Mainz.
Who else? We have Tim.
Tim participating from Germany, Leipzig.
Nice. Maria.
Hi, I'm participating from Copenhagen.
Super. And then we have Anna.
Anna participating from the UK.
Okay, so thank you guys very much. And today we are becoming a remote team. And as I mentioned, today we're going to be trying this one out, the check-in and out seeker. These are the other 3 categories. So the check-in and out seeker is a powerful ritual to open or close meetings with a stronger team. and it requires you to allow yourself to be present, seen, and heard. It might be a little bit weird at the beginning because that's how check-in and out exercise work. They do require a little bit from the participant to open up, but as the more that you do it, the easier that it gets. Today it'll be particularly weird since we're not really a team and we might not be doing this again together. But let's get to it. So, first of all, we need to organize at least the first person. So is there anyone that has birthday in May? Now I can sense that it might be a question that nobody will want to volunteer for. Is there anyone that has their birthday coming up in June, perhaps?
Me.
Sina. Okay,
Yeah.
Sina, so that means that you get to start.
All right.
So you look deeply into the eye and then you tell me stop whenever you want me to stop.
Stop.
Okay, so you get the lime green. And the lime green is the long time no see check-in. So you check in with your teammates touching all 3 points and you decide if it's work or personal life related. So Sina, you share with us since we last met, which is interesting because we've never met before, but just share something about what you have done, what you did, what you saw, and what have you been doing, yeah.
All right. So when we last met was last week, I think. Since that, I did go on a stroll to the countryside in my hometown. I saw many beautiful trees, and I was setting up my flat in Leipzig on the weekend since I'm going to move to Leipzig next weekend.
Oh, nice, interesting, cool. Okay, Sina, thank you for sharing. Would you like to suggest the next person that goes
I would
from
say,
our volunteers?
Yeah, sure. I would say Karina.
Karina. Okay, Karina.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Yes. So let's. Oh. Okay. So whenever you're ready, you tell me to stop.
Stop.
Okay. You get the headline news. So again, Karina, it works the same. You check in with your teammates touching all 3 points, and then you share with the team a one-line headline for the best, the worst, and the most random news you received or read this week. And the team can pick if there's one of these headlines that we wish to hear more about.
All right. Oh, this is tricky. The best news this week. Okay. The headline for the best news is young family is chilling on a roof terrace.
Nice.
Okay, the worst. Well, the worst news. Most recent one. Project can't be supported due to time issues. And most random news. Weather is going to be most beautiful ever.
Okay. If we had more time, I would definitely have chosen the best news to hear more about that young family chilling on a rooftop, right? Sounds like something we would want to hear a little bit more about.
I'd be happy to share it.
Thank you, Karina. Would you like to choose the next person that goes?
How about Tim?
Yes.
Tim. Hello, Tim.
Hello. Stop.
There we go. Tim, you get the metaphor categories.
Oh my God.
You decide if it's work or personal life related, and in your current state or mood, what animal, place, and food describes you.
Okay, what place would describe me most? So maybe my apartment describes me most because this is the border I'm existing at the moment. Maybe. But also it's a nice comfort zone to be in at the moment. So it has pros and cons. Maybe the animal, it's maybe like a bat, maybe being more active during the night and working during that time and being pretty active there and taking the sensors out for anything I can do there. And food or drink, maybe it's a chilled glass of wine. So to enjoy the time and making actually the best out of it. Yeah. So maybe one glass of wine is no glass of wine. So something like this, yeah, would describe me.
Super. Sounds really interesting, Tim. And the bat metaphor is really good. I'll write that one down. Good. Thank you, Tim. Would you like to choose the next person who should go?
Anna, please.
Anna.
Team, I knew that.
Hello, Anna.
Hello, stop. Oh. Hello and stop.
Hey. Hello, stop. Okay, Anna, you get the orange one. The orange one is called the I am check-in. So again, you decide if it's work or personal life related, and you can share a state of the soul, body, and mind update with the team. So at the current moment, I am emotionally, physically, and mentally something.
All happy, you know. Emotional, I feel it's Christmas because kind of all the time with family and kind of I can't work, you know. I have a 3-year-old daughter and yeah, it feels like Christmas to me. Physically also nice. We spend lots of time walking outdoors. We just have to entertain her and not to go completely crazy. I started doing exercises. So every morning I start with 40 minutes, just I don't know, exercising my body really. And mentally, yeah, not to go completely crazy in the evenings. Every day I have a Greek lesson, which is a release for me because then I have to give my little one to my husband. And then I have an excuse to just lay back and just enjoy learning Greek. And my, yeah, and I do work at night, so which is a bit crazy, but that's the only time when I could do. But yeah, very happy, all positive. Thank you for asking.
Good, thank you for sharing, Anna. And then
Kayla?
Yeah?
I'm sorry for interrupting, but we don't have time anymore.
Okay.
You can just wrap up the session.
Yeah, okay. So Maria, you'll try it out next time. But thank you all for thank you all for participating, and thank you all for joining in the session. Let me just stop sharing here. Have I stopped sharing my screen now, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, so the game really shows its potential through continuous use, but there you have a small example of what it is. And as we mentioned, yeah, it has 3 different categories for different intentions. Yes, but I think that will be all then from my part. Would you like to say something else, Sandra?
Yeah, thank you, Karina and Kyla, for joining the webinar together with me today. I'm amazed how time was flying by now. I think we could use another hour. We have enough to say about, I assume. So thank you, everybody, for joining the webinar. I hope we got some insights to you. And if you have questions, feel free to contact us.